So Keep On Going With Your Silly Dream by Piter on AO3. Read by Lily6645. This fic may include mentions of suicidal thoughts. That is your warning. Chapter 46. Grown and Changed? Summary. Izuku chit-chats with Uraraka, patrols, and got dragged into busting some druggies with Mirko. Send her intern, who just so happens to be his childhood bully. Scratch that. Bully from last year. Uh-oh. Izuku groaned, gently hitting his head against the ground. The noise of both Stroke yowling and his phone ringing refused to cease. He peeled his face off the wood it rested on, hissing in pain as he attempted to support himself with his arms. Right. He'd done something to his shoulder. It throbbed in sync with the bruises and cuts he'd earned yesterday. He rolled over, grabbing his phone in one hand while petting Stroke with the other. He swore that cat was worse than a baby. Hello? Deku! Uraraka sighed in relief. You fought the hero killer? It was whispered harshly, like she was afraid to be overheard. Oh yeah, internships. She probably was. What's the official story? You and Eraserhead rescued 2 students and another pro from the hero killer. Then you almost got caught by a Nomu. Her voice was tense, wobbling slightly. I'm sorry that I worried. Stop apologizing, please. Just how hurt are you? Just some cuts and bruises. I'm okay. You're okay, she repeated back. I should go now. I need some time to eat still. I couldn't wait being sure you were really okay, though. I sent you a text, Izuku defended. Uraraka snorted subsequently. Deku, listen. Cryptic texts in the middle of the night filled with spelling errors? Those aren't reassuring. I guess I can see that. Thinking back on it. It's okay. Just be a little more, I don't know, detailed, safe in the future, that is, and fill me in on what really happened later. You bet. I should go too. Gonna go to the gym and shower, Izuku confirmed, smiling. Bye, Uraraka. Call me Ochako. Uraraka, no, Ochako, interrupted him. Oh, well, bye, Ochako. See you later, Deku. Be safe. Izuku grinned at the phone for a moment before he was rudely interrupted by Stroke, swatting at his face. The vigilante slipped the last piece of a ham sandwich given to him by some older woman he saved from being mugged. It was kind of soggy, but hey, food was food. After fighting Stain the previous night, he'd resigned himself to wearing his pants again, to both hide his current injury and avoid future ones. Didn't mean he wasn't hot as hell. He paused for a moment, his ears just barely picking up on a scuff from an alleyway. It could just be a cat, but one could never be too safe. Imagine someone died just because he equated a fight to an animal. He jogged forwards when a leg popped from the alley and aimed a kick for his chest. He gasped, dropping down and swiping forwards with his knife. However, at the cackling laughter, fear turned into mild irritation and embarrassment. Mirko! Come on! Izuku whined as he got up, wincing. You better not have made me pop a stitch. You'll be fine. She squinted at him. Right, Big Shot? You did help bring down the hero killer. I'm fine. It was nothing, really. But what are you doing here? You aren't normally out at night on Wednesdays. My intern needs a lot of work with stealth. Was hoping it could be a joint operation between us, 'cause the kid's a damn handful. Alright, Mirko's intern, he wondered who it... Quit talking about me. Like I'm not here, you bat. Bakugo yelled, marching forwards from the alley and dragging two thugs behind him. Don't call me a bat. I'm not even 30. Could have fooled me. Why, you little... Izuku watched silently, heart racing in his chest. Of course, Mirko had to decide to take on the loud, violent student. Who else? At the same time, though, this Bakugo seemed so distant from the one Izuku had known. This one was bulkier, with his hair a little shorter and eyes a little dimmer. The dark bags under his eyes were new too. He was angry, but not like he'd been in middle school, and Izuku wasn't sure how to feel about that. So, Yahoo, what do you say all three of us go check out a dealing I heard about from one of these? Her foot nudges one of the unconscious men's faces. These dudes show this wannabe how the real heroes work. He's a vigilante, and I'm not a wannabe. If anything, he's a one. Shut up for a second, brat. Yahoo! Are you in? He swallowed, ignoring Bakugo's growled threat to Mirko. Yeah, let's go. Izuku was such an idiot. Mirko looked at him for a long moment before she began snickering. Why are you talking like that? Talking like what? This is my normal voice. It is not. What, are you intimidated because my intern has a deeper voice than you? I'm not. Shut the hell up. Let's get to this drug deal already. Bakugo interrupted, sparks flying from his palms. The vigilante felt sick. All the confidence and volume he'd gained from bantering with the number 5 hero was suddenly gone, and his shoulders hunched forward. "Lead the way," he said, giving up on lowering his voice. Mirko's smile faded, replaced by confusion. She nodded nonetheless and started forwards in a slight jog. Izuku ignored the pair of crimson eyes that were glued to his back. "Keep up, Lord Explosion Murder!" "I am keeping up." Bakugo rocketed in front of them. "You keep up." "Petty brat," Mirko grunted. "No more explosions." "They don't need to know we're coming." "Whatever." The blonde fell back slightly, running next to Izuku as they followed the rabbit hero. Bakugo hadn't argued. Mirko must have really whipped him into shape, or maybe he'd changed, grown, just as Izuku had. Mirko stopped at the next building, large and pointed. A little ways down was one of the abandoned apartments complexes scattered throughout Musatafu. Izuku had never noticed anything wrong with the building before, but there is a second-floor window was hit of a glow behind it. "Let's scope it out. If it's nothing high caliber, we'll bust it. If it is dangerous, I want you to scram, Bakugo." "You aren't the boss of me." "I am, and if you don't listen, then so help me God, you won't be worrying about some shady dealers," Mirko threatened, jabbing a finger in the student's chest. Bakugo rolled his eyes, but didn't yell a complaint, so Izuku counted it as a win. "I think based on the strength of your legs, you should be able to make it to the top floor holding us. However, based on where the light is, it wouldn't be convenient time-wise. If we go in through the ground, we run the risk of having a fight through guards and abandoned building, Yahoo!" Mirko said, suddenly cutting the vigilante off. "Third floor window is missing. I'll get us in through there. Good?" Izuku nodded, but Bakugo hadn't stopped staring at Izuku. The hero in training's jaw was tightly shut, and he looked incredibly pale. "Bakugo?" Mirko poked the teen's shoulder. "Did you hear the plan?" Yeah. Let's just do this already." That is the end of Chapter 46. On to the next chapter. Chapter 47, Drug Bust. That was way too easy. Summary: Bakugo, Mirko, and Deku go bust some druggies. That's about it. Izuku glared at Mirko, praying she could feel it through his goggles, holding his nose and stemming the blood. They'd launched through the window all right. Mirko and Bakugo had gone in fine. Izuku, on the other hand, was apparently too big to fit since Mirko accidentally bashed his face against the windowsill. To her credit, she did seem to feel genuinely bad. A few jokes and stuttered apologies didn't hide the pure horror on her face when the vigilante's face smacked against a brick. Bakugo was still looking at him as if he'd seen a ghost. Izuku opted to ignore it for now, unless directly confronted. "We're on the 3rd floor then," Izuku grumbled, giving up with a sigh. He'd need to wash his bandana later. "Yeah, we're on the far left of this floor, and they're on the far right of the 2nd floor. Definitely have to be quiet." "It's just some damn druggies. Let me blast the floor and blow up these idiots." Mirko nudged Izuku, gesturing for him to explain. "Well, we don't know what drugs are down there. Someone could take a quirk enhancing one if they realized we were here. Some might also be too flammable for your explosions without risking the building. Oh, and you don't have your "I get it." The blonde snapped, his tone oddly strained. "Now, just stop the damn rambling." Izuku stared at Bakugo. Bakugo stared at Izuku. "We don't have all night," Mirko interrupted. "Let's get moving. Enough of whatever's going on here." "Nothing's going on," Bakugo snapped, crossing his arms and stomping to the door. Izuku shrugged helplessly at Mirko's incredulous look. "Yeah, anyways, Yahoo, go scope out." "Why the hell does he get to go first?" "Because you haven't learned how to shut your damn mouth." Mirko looked up. "Yahoo, come on. Move it, kid." Izuku jumped in surprise, quickly exiting. What was once a fast pace became more hunched, feet landing carefully onto the ground. He avoided spots that looked particularly rotten and floorboards that looked uneven or damaged. He could hear floorboards creaking behind him, Bakugo not quite getting the hang of it. But Izuku didn't mind. It actually felt pretty good to be better than Bakugo at something. Slowly, he slipped into the stairwell and climbed down until he was facing the doorway that would lead them to the supposed dealing. He cracked the door just enough to see the hallway at the next floor. Nothing. Just a little more. Izuku forcibly bit down a yelp when a meaty hand grabbed his neck, forcibly yanking him out and chucking him into the nearest wall. Immediately, the vigilante saw stars, a familiar ring beginning in his left ear, and he was pretty sure his nose had resumed its bleeding. He looked back at the man and had to practically hold himself in half to avoid the brass knuckles speeding towards his face. In fact, the entirety of the man's hand seemed to shine. Some sort of hardening quirk? The man was suddenly out of Izuku's vision. He blinked, looking to Mirko in confusion. Had she always been that fast? Was Izuku just slow? Yahoo! Murder! Go down the hall! I'll deal with this guy, Mirko ordered. Izuku followed without thinking, sprinting away from the scene. He hoped Bakugo had followed. He paused. Bakugo, my hearing's a little messed up. Could you hear anything weird? The blonde stared. You're joking. No? My hearing doesn't work for shit, he muttered, hands clenching at his side. So, essentially, they were deaf. Leading the deaf. Fantastic. This way? The dust it's more disturbed this way than the other way, Izuku muttered, slightly nervous despite all the ways he'd proven himself in the last 11 months. Whatever, nerd. Let's go. Izuku almost choked on the blood currently pulling in his throat from his nose. It's the heroes, fuckers! Surrender! Bakugo sparked off a few threatening explosions. Or else. Oh, shit! Is that Yahoo? A woman asked from the back. Her arm ended in tentacles rather than fingers. Glancing down, there were 6 other tentacles in place of her human legs. He's the one who helped bring down the hero killer. Oh man! No way we can make it out. Boss is gonna be pissed. Bakugo's eye twitched in agitation. Hey, you bastards! Don't forget about me! Ah, is that the kid from the sludge villain? Damn you! Izuku laid a firm hand on the agitated blonde shoulder. So I'm assuming you all do currently have drugs on you? The squid woman stayed silent for a long moment, not looking away from the floor. No? The others never even tried. The vigilante cleared his throat. All right, let's get you guys. I'm not going back to prison! The skinny man growled, glaring defiantly at the 2 teens. Oh, come on, just come easy for once. Izuku was cut off when the man suddenly dumped a vial in his mouth. Every other criminal in the room screamed, almost lunging at him. You idiot! What the hell? Cash? Overhaul's gonna... None of it mattered in the end. The one frail man let out a deafening cackle. A crack echoed through the entire room, then another, and another. The 4 others rushed out of the room and attempted to flee. Not that they get far with both Izuku and Bakugo posted beside the door. Skinny guy continued to crack, growing larger, laughing, and all the while. So Izuku does the normal thing by sprinting into the room and cracking his bat over the man's head, causing him to crumple forwards immediately. He stared for a long second. Was that it? Let's just grab the bag and go. We already have the decks. But it just feels... I don't care how it feels. Izuku rolls his eyes. Oh, okay, well, I didn't ask you. After a quick peek in the bag, containing, yep, you guessed it, a variety of illegal substances, he slung the bag over his back. Mirko volunteered to haul the big guys out as long as Izuku and Bakugo grabbed the small fries. Of course, they agreed easily, trudging down the stairs after Mirko. Yo-ho, Bakugo grumbled, adjusting Squid Woman on his back and accidentally kicking the red guy. Yeah? Where the hell do I know you from? The blonde kept his eyes glued forwards, licking his lips nervously. And for a moment, a brief second of weakness, Izuku almost told him that it was Deku, and he ran off to be a vigilante. And thanks to you, and sorry, and to please take him home to his mom. But he couldn't. He wasn't that middle schooler anymore. No way in hell could he just go back now, no matter how much he wanted to. I've only seen you at the sports festival, if that's what you mean. They reached the bottom, a tense silence remaining. You aren't stupid. You know damn well that's not what I meant. And you know, I don't want anything to do with you beyond the occasional team up since you're interning with Mirko. He ignored the glare sent his way. After being on the receiving end of it for so many years, he got used to it. In the end, Izuku returned just like he always did. Anyway, from Bakugo and away from the criminals. Yet a question continued to bounce in his skull, one that had lingered since he first left. How long could he keep this up? Izuku swung his legs on the roof ledge, ignoring the soft steps behind him. Eraserhead wasn't here on arresting duty. Tonight anyways. Otherwise, Izuku would never hear him coming. Especially not with the high-pitched tinnitus in his left ear. The pro sat down next to Izuku, just out of arm's reach. He hadn't said a word. Normally you smell the food before I give it to you, Eraserhead said, holding out a bag of McDonald's. Mask was bloody, and I think my nose is broken. Izuku greedily takes the bag, almost sobbing at the sight of his beloved spicy McCrispy and fries. He turned his head away, obliterating the food. Drug busts always had made him hungry. Kid, Izuku hums in acknowledgement.
My intern. What he said about your mom.
Izuku stiffened.
He was simply attempting to get a rise out of you and get in a bit of practice. We didn't intend to set you off or anything like that. It wasn't malicious. I apologize if we brought up any bad memories.
Izuku swallowed the bite of his food, turning back towards the hero. He seemed guilty, eyes glued to the skyline, even as his shoulders remained tense and guarded. I know. He wanted me to respond so he could use his quirk. Aizawa gave him a hard look, so he immediately added on to his previous answer. I saw it on TV. So, anyways, no hard feelings? He didn't mind Aizawa, who was still staring. Instead, he teared into his second sandwich.
Hawks talk to me.
That snitch.
You're the one who keeps running to his apartment,
Aizawa pointed out, like a jerk. Izuku simply rolled his eyes. It made him feel better, despite knowing Eraserhead couldn't actually see his eyes.
I don't know who's going to kill me first. You, Deku, or Class 1A.
He grumbled to himself, mouth twitching up slightly as Izuku laughed. Maybe Eraserhead wasn't so bad. That is the end of chapter 47 of So Keep On Going With Your Silly Dream by Piter on AO3. If you enjoyed this, please go support the original author. Link in the description below. Thank you so much for listening.